Shabbat Shalom, Mashpachah. This is the 18th of the 7th month, July 17th, and this is the Shabbath convocation. The reading is reading number 114. Okay. All right, everybody. So we'll get the water. So we'll go ahead and get started. I do have the reading for this week. Again, went through all of the chapters, looked at the went through all of the chapters, looked at the Greek, shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Went through all of the chapters, looked at the Greek, and did another translation, a more literal translation based on, all of the ancient records that we have. All right, so I'll go ahead and share that with y'all. I'll go ahead and share that with y'all in a minute. I gotta save it real quick. And then it'll be ready for you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save that to send that to y'all. Now I'll put it in the group so you can have access to it. All right, let me go ahead and do that one time for your mind. So you'll be able to see exactly, what we're saying. And not only that, you'll get a better translation than we usually have available when we use the King James or we use the Masoretic text. All right, so if you go into the comment section, you'll see the link to the document. Okay, so I've shared that with everybody now. All right, so let's face. You can either kneel or you can be seated as we start with these with the first set of prayers. Okay, the first readings, and we're going to a set of prayers. All right, this one, of course, is pretty much about the Sabbath. Okay. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 6 days, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Yasharallah, saying, Verily my Sabbath you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that doth sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work Therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the chosen of Yahshua shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout the generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the chosen of Yahshua forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. All right, so now we move into Psalms 92, which is a psalm for the Sabbath day. So we're moving to the psalm for the Sabbath day. So let us kneel. Talking to Yahweh now. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh and to sing praise unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But you, Yahweh, are most high forevermore. For you, Yahweh, for lo thine enemies, Yahweh, for lo thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered, but my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes shall see my desire on mine enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall grow in the courts of our Alahiah. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing to show that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. The Shema. Hear, O Yasharallah, Yahweh our God, Yahweh is one. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house, and it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love Yahweh your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thy oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourself, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other Elohim and worship them. And then Yahweh's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the Shemayim that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh giveth you. Therefore shall you lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thy house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied in the days of your children, in the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of Shemayim upon the earth. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, to love Yahweh your God, and to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, speak unto the children of Yasharallah, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it. And remember all the commandments of Yahweh and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. I am Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Yahweh your God. Second greatest commandment. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. Baruch atah Yahweh, who blesses his people, Yasha'Allah, with peace. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Yahweh, my strength and my redeemer. Aman. Bashem Yeshua HaMashiach. Aman. And shall come. All right, so we see, the Sabbath reading for today deals with making a vow, and it also deals with sacrificing to Yahweh, and it deals with being separated, being holy unto Yahweh for the Nazarite vow. Okay, the vow of the Nazarite, which is the level of holiness when you step outside of certain elements of society, and you refrain from drinking alcohol and things made with, things made from grapes and liquor. All right. So hopefully everybody's having a holy Shabbath. Remember, always be the light. When you're dealing with your family, be a light of righteousness and obedience to Yahweh. Don't just have, it's good to have casual interactions, but don't just have interactions that exclude the salvation of the people that you're dealing with, because all of this is going to pass away. Your life, we've all known grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, aunts, even parents that have passed away, that have died. And when your turn comes and it's time for you to die, you're going to have to give an account to Yahweh, and you're going to be judged on where you're going to spend eternity. Time, as we know, and the universe, as we know, are infinite. They don't stop. Matter cannot be destroyed. We won't say it can't be created, but everything just transforms into different phases. All right. So my point is that you are part of the universe. You are part of the elements of the universe. Everything in your body is found in the soil, whether it's zinc, copper, gold, aluminum. All of these elements are in your body. All the natural elements that you see on the periodic table of elements, all of them are in your body. You are part of the universe. So when you give up this physical body, your spirit will go back to the Father. And all you can do is make sure that you are prepared for your judgment. All of the things that you're doing now, the partying, the movies, the reading, the intimate relationships, the drinking, the smoking, that ain't gonna last forever. Everybody's gonna have their day in the grave. So when you die, make sure that you're ready to meet your maker. And that's part of my job, is to make sure that you're ready to meet your maker. So there's certain principles, there's certain words, there's certain lessons that are taught inside of the ancient book of the Israelites. And the section that we're reading, that we're going to be reading in a few minutes, was written several thousands of years ago. All right. And this book has been passed through time. So I want to bring you to repentance, to salvation. No matter what you're going through on this life, on this earth, no matter how easy you think your life is, or no matter how hard you think your life is, nothing is going to compare to the punishment or the reward that's waiting for you. Okay? Everybody understand that? All right. So So let's read again. Let's get 7 blast again. So let's announce. That was our brief intermission. So let's go into the actual convocation now. All right. All right, all praise to the Most High Yahweh. That blast actually reverberates and vibrates things. That horn vibrates things in the room. All right. So Leviticus 23. These are the readings, the basic readings to outline the Sabbath. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. That's Leviticus 23:1. Acts 15:21 says this, For Moses of old time has in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. Luke 4:16 says this, And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read. Let's pray again. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Yahweh, my strength and my redeemer, Bashem Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. All right, so now let's go into the readings. All right, so we're in reading number 114. So you should see that on your screen now. Okay. And remember, we're going to this reading, and it's for the it's for the priest and the person that's going into the vow of a Nazarite, y'all. All right, going to the vow of a Nazarite. Okay, and this is again, this is a very important. This is a very important spiritual relationship between Yahweh and the person that's going to this vow. All right. So let's have the first reader come up. You could actually read verses 1 through 21. And read from off of here too. I don't know. Let me see if I can share this with you. Hold up, man, because we're gonna use this. Yeah, share the screen for you with you. Right.
Numbers 6:1. Yahweh spake to Moshe, saying, Speak unto the sons of Yeshua. Speak unto the sons of Yeshua, and thou shalt say unto them, Man or woman, whosoever, if greatly, he should vow a vow to purify himself a purification unto Yahweh, from wine and strong drink, he shall purify himself vinegar of wine and vinegar of strong drink, shall he not drink, and as many things as are worked out of the grape shall he not drink, and the fresh grape and the raisin he shall not eat. All the days of his vow, from all things as many as come out of the vine, wine of the skins, until grapestone he shall not eat. All the days of his vow, of his purification, There shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled. As many as he vowed to Yahweh, holy shall he be, nourishing the long hair of the head. All the days of the vow unto Yahweh, upon any soul having died, shall he not enter. Upon father, and upon mother, and upon brother, and upon sister, he shall not be defiled upon them, for they have died, because the vow of his Elohim is upon him, upon his head. All the days of the vow of him, holy he shall be to Yahweh. If any man die upon him suddenly, straightway, shall be defiled the head of the vow of him, and he shall shave his head, in which day soever he shall be cleansed, on the day the 7th he shall be shaved. And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves, or 2 young nestlings of pigeons unto the priest, unto the doors of the tabernacle of the testimony, and the priest shall make the one concerning sin, and the one for a whole burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement concerning him for what things he sinned concerning the soul, and he shall sanctify his head on that day, in which he was sanctified to Yahweh the days of the vow, and he shall bring a lamb of a year for a trespass offering, and the days of the former wordless shall be, because defiled was the head of the vow of him. And this is the law of him having vowed, in which day soever he shall have fulfilled the days of the vow, he shall bring himself beside the doors of the tabernacle of the testimony, and he shall bring the gift of him to Yahweh, a lamb of a year without blemish, one for a whole burnt offering, and a ewe lamb of a year without blemish, one for sin, and ram, one without blemish, for a salvation offering, and a basket of unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed in oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed in oil, and the sacrifice of them, and the drink offering of them. And the priest shall make them before Yahweh, and he shall make the thing concerning the sin of him, and the whole burnt offering of him. And the ram he shall make a sacrifice of a salvation offering to Yahweh upon the basket of the unleavened cakes, and the priest shall make the sacrifice of him, and the drink offering of him. And he, having vowed, shall shave beside the doors of the tabernacle of the testimony the head of the vow of him, and he shall place the hair upon the fire which is under the sacrifice of the salvation offering. And the priest shall take the shoulder boiled from the ram, and cake unleavened one from the basket, and wafer unleavened one, and shall place them upon the hands of him having vowed after the shaving of him his vow. And the priest shall bring them in an imposition before Yahweh. Holy it shall be for the priest upon the breastpiece of the imposition, and upon the shoulder of the removal offering, and after these things shall drink he having vowed wine. This is the law of him having vowed, whosoever shall have vowed to Yahweh the gift of him to Yahweh concerning the vow of him, apart from what things the hand of him shall find, to the power of the vow of him, according to the power of the vow of him, which he shall have vowed according to the law of purification.
All right, the water say everything. Shabbat. All right, so in so in these sacrifices, the person, well, let me see. In these sacrifices, the person is vowing to Yahweh, as for the Nazarite vow. And when they vow to Yahweh for the Nazarite vow, they can't eat grapes. They can't eat anything that comes from grapes. They can't drink any liquor, and they can't drink any kind of wine. Okay, and we also see that the Kohen gets gets 5 things. Okay, the Kohen gets the the shoulder of the ram. He gets the breast, the waved breast piece, okay, of the ram, the elevated shoulder of the ram, the unleavened cakes from the basket, and 1 unleavened wafer. Okay. Now, when the person enters into a Nazarite vow, they're supposed to be set apart for Yahweh. They can't go to any funerals. And you see several Rastafarians have adopted this logic when they enter into Rastafarianism, that they won't go to a funeral. Mikey Dread has a song where he sings about going to a funeral. Me say don't want if you go to the funeral, but this man not go to no man burial. All right, so that's Mikey Dread. So they take that Nazarite vow and they apply certain principles and aspects of it, but of course they can't apply the entire Nazarite vow itself because it requires a beginning and an ending part, unless it's going to be for life, and then it also requires that that the person um, make a sacrifice. All right, make a sacrifice. Now we see that the person doing a Nazarite vow, you know, if they go to a funeral, as well as when a Nazarite vow ends, then they have to shave all of their hair. All of their hair, you know, has to be shaved off, and then the priest takes the hair, and the priest puts the hair into the fire. Okay, he puts it into the fire, and once he puts it into the fire, then the vow is over. And this is, and he would also have to do this if the vow, if he went around somebody that died on accident. Okay, and this is why concerning the sin or him going around a dead body on accident in verse 11, and it tells you that when he goes around a dead body on accident, that he still has to make a sacrifice for it. Right? He had to sanctify his head because it's an error. It's a sin because he was supposed to be set apart. So even though it's accidental, then he can still make that offering and recognize. So just because you do something on accident doesn't mean you're not responsible for making it right. And a lot of times we think, oh, it was an accident, so you still have to make it right. All right. So now we see in verse 15 that he brings the unleavened cakes, and he has to bring a ram. And now rams were valuable in ewes, which is a female goat. That was valuable too. The rams were breeding, and the ewes, the female rams, they would bring forth, you know, twins or triplets sometimes. And remember, they can have babies twice a year. So you got you got 4 female sheep or goats rather before the year is up. You know, before 1 year hits, you should have 16. And that's if they have 2, which normally they have 2. All right. So that's 4 for each one. That's 16 in a year. That's a lot of meat. It's a lot of milk, depending if it's a male or a female. So these were valuable assets to the community, but they had to be part of Yahweh's requirements for certain rituals. Everything is a ritual. We have rituals for everything. We have to respect the rituals that Yahweh put in place, just like we respect the rituals of having a baby shower or having a gender reveal or having a graduation ceremony. Life is all about ceremonies and celebrations and rituals. The quinceañera. So these are rituals that people engage in. Or Yahweh has his rituals also, who is the creator of mankind. So we can respect each other's rituals. We got to respect his rituals also, what he wants for us to do. So in verse 18, we see that he has to shave, and then he has to take the hair, and the hair is burnt. Now, a lot of Black people down south and up north, when they're doing somebody's hair, usually a lot of times they don't put the hair in the trash. A lot of times they take the hair and they actually burn the hair. They burn the hair. And this is part of the origin of us remembering that and knowing that, but not really knowing the circumstances around everything. Because they say, oh, you take the hair, and if a bird gets your hair and makes a nest, then you're gonna get a headache. All right, that's the myth behind it. All right, that's the folklore, I should say, or the superstition. But it's because we see hair, you know, of people that is trying to be special and dedicated to Yahweh being cut and burned. And of course, our people being in captivity, we wanted to be special to the Most High, but we just didn't have the tools and we didn't know how. But there was certain things that we did remember about the Bible when we read the Bible, or even from being in our when we were in West Africa. I urge everybody to check out this book, Olaudah Equiano, the interesting narrative of the life of Olaudah Equiano, where he talks about how everything he did is written in the 1700s, and he was a slave, and he talks about everything that he did during slavery. Was, you know, when he was free as well as when he was at home, the things that were a part of his normal life. When he read the Bible, he saw that these things were in the Bible. So even though they didn't have the Bible, they didn't have the Torah, they had practices. So that proves that even though we were away from Israel in West Africa, we had certain practices and rituals that had been embedded in our society that we did, okay, that we did. And again, we didn't have a book to tell us why we were doing these things, but we knew to do them. And Olaudah Equiano's book is an example of how people have, you could call it, you can call it, let's say, anthropological memory, okay? They had anthropology, and they had memories of what they did in the past in Israel, and they had these same practices once they came into West Africa. So that's why we burn the hair today. You know, we burn the hair because we know in the Bible that there was something special that we had to do with the hair. And when you take things from people, you know, everything becomes special if you remember it. It's almost like if somebody passes away, and let's say if somebody very important to you passes away and everything that they had is gone, and then all of a sudden you find a pair of socks. A pair of socks are very insignificant, but you know this was a favorite pair of socks of this person that was near to you. So you're going to cherish those socks and bring them to you, and maybe you yourself will wear them on special occasions. Well, this is what we have with the hair. We knew that it was something special and significant about the hair. We didn't know the rest of the Bible. We didn't have the Bible in West Africa, but we had practices and rituals. So when we came into America, in the Americas, there was certain practices that carried over. And once we read the Bible, those of us that could read eventually, oh, well, this is in the Bible. This is what the Nazarites did. Okay. And another quick correction we need to make. We're gonna have to find another word to use for these Levites, as opposed to priest, okay? Because they're not priests. And I know you're on the edge of your seat, right? What do you mean they're not priests? A Kohen is not a priest. The word priest comes from the word presbyteros. And the word presbyteros means an elder. So the word priest and the word Kohen or Kahan have a different origin. They're not the same word, y'all. All right, they're not the same word. So we have to find another word to use. Or you can just use the word that it is. You can just say what? Kohen. Okay? Now, the word Kohen itself does not just mean somebody that offers up animals and sacrifices to the Most High. A Kohen is more like a spiritual minister for us and for Yahweh. All right. So You'll see me kind of going, when you say the word Kahan or priest, you'll see me saying Kohen or Kahan a lot more frequently. Okay, but the word priest and elder are literal synonyms because the word priest comes from the Greek word that means elder, presbyteros, right? You can look that up. You can look it up yourself. What is the etymological origin of the word priest? And it will tell you, oh, it comes from a word that means elder. All right. So let's move on to the Psalms now. This is Psalms 93. If at any point any man wants to read, just put your hand up and we'll fit you into the next segment, right? So we're gonna read Psalms 93 and verses 16 to 23, but it's gonna be Psalms 92 in the Greek, okay? And again, you can open up. I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to shut this down on the call, okay? But you can open it up. You know, you can feel free to open it up in your app if you want to, okay? You can open up on your phone, your device that you have. All right. All right. So Psalms 93, verse 16, and Psalms 92 in the Greek. Okay. Now, I do love to use the Lexham English Septuagint for the Psalms. We're going to see how accurate it is. And again, verse 16. Actually, you know what? My bad. It's 93. It's giving me the Greek rendering, so it's going to be, what is 94? Is that 90? That's 94, right? What's your 94? It's 23 verses in your book. Okay, so my bad. So it's 94. So I used the Greek Bible to put it together, y'all. See, that's why you here, you live in person. So now I can just make the change right there, and you got it, right? Okay, now it looks like we have a volunteer from either Spoken of Yahweh or Quiet Lion right here. It's in the room. All right. All right, Shabbat Shalom. All right, so verses 16 through 23. What version are you reading from?
I was looking at the document.
Okay, all right, great. Have you opened it yourself, or are you using this as this on it? Yeah, I guess you had to open it yourself, right? Okay, great. Let's jump right into it then. Thawada.
Psalm chapter 93, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against them that do evil? Or who will stand up together with me against them that work lawlessness? If not that Yahweh had helped me, within a little had sojourned in Hades the soul of me. If I said, taken is the foot of me, thy mercy, O Yahweh, helpeth me. O Yahweh, according to the multitude of my sorrows, in the heart of me, thy consolations have loved the soul of me. Shall there be joined with thee a throne of lawlessness, which frameth trouble upon a commandment? They will hunt upon the soul of the righteous, and blood innocent they will condemn. And Yahweh is become to me for refuge, and my Lahiah for a helper of the hope of me. And he shall render unto them their lawlessness, and according to their wickedness destroy them shall Yahweh our Lahiah.
Now remember, this is the reading that Karash Allah reads every fourth day of the week. So these thoughts are supposed to be in our mind weekly. All right. Now, did you have any or rather, can you share with us any insight or understanding from the text?
Mm. It seems like a sort of a call for those who are willing to fight for their people, to help the people of Yahweh. People joining David, and hunting those who want to hurt the innocent, the lives of Yasharallah. So I guess it's asking who's going to answer that call.
Right.
And I guess the saying is to rise to the occasion, to help those who need to be helped, and fight against the enemies of the people.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Is that the cherry on top? Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah. And you can look at it from that perspective and get a lot of inspiration. It is a call to arms, a spiritual call to arms, to help those that need to be helped, and though people are hunting the soul. Now listen what that says. It says people are hunting the souls of the righteous ones. That means that there's forces going on in the fourth dimension that are against people that are trying to do righteous. They're spiritual forces. So, witchcraft is real. Spells are real. Santeria is real. Voodoo is real. Roots, those things are real, but they don't touch people who, one, serve Yahweh, and two, don't really deal in that world and have faith in the God of the Bible, no matter if they are mature or immature in their walk. So verse 21 is a very important thing to look at, and people condemn innocent blood. Another thing that he read was in verse 20. Look at verse 20. It is not that a throne of righteousness which forms trouble against your ordinance is present with you, is it? So basically, there is rulership, spiritual wickedness in high places that make trouble against the ordinances of Yahweh. Understand what that means. That means there's forces that make it difficult for you to eat clean foods, for you to keep the Sabbath, for you to be set apart when you have an open sore that needs bandage to be changed, for 7 days during that time and 7 days after it stops. There are forces in the universe, in governments, that oppose the law of Yahweh. What government on the planet Earth upholds the law that we read in the Bible? People uphold Islam. People uphold Christianity. People uphold Hinduism, right? Judaism in Israel does not uphold the Torah. It upholds the Talmud, but it respects the Torah. So for all the bad things that people say about, Europeans, and we can say a lot of bad things about them, when you go into Israel, when you go into America, you don't feel religious oppression. When you go into England, you don't feel, Muslims are everywhere in England. You don't feel religious oppression. France, a little differently. France got a lot of things you can't say. But England, America, maybe even Australia, I don't know, you don't feel a lot of religious oppression in these so-called European countries. Now, you go to Saudi Arabia, right? You're going to feel religious oppression. You go to India, you're going to feel religious oppression, okay? You go to America, you're not going to really feel that. And I'm talking from experience. You go to Turkey, you're not going to feel it, but you will feel slightly ostracized, but the cultural aspect of what you're doing, they will respect that. Turkey, they just have a problem with Netanyahu, and that the political aspects of the political aspects of modern Jewish people. They don't have a problem with us, okay, per se, as Israelites that are scattered throughout these different countries. So very good reading right here. David says that my soul is shaken. All right. He says that if my soul is shaken, that the mercy of Yahweh will help us. If you want that help, if you reach out for that help, if you ask for that help, you'll get it. Okay. But it comes at a price. And the price is respect, honor, and love of your creator. You spend so much time in your life trying to do what you want to do, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. But Yahweh has things that he wants you to do that make him feel good, that for your best interest. But you'll find these things out later in life if you don't learn these lessons now. All right. You learn these lessons, later in life. All right. When you put the extra poundings and the extra processing on your body, on your mind, you'll feel it. You'll feel it in you'll feel it in your body, you'll feel it in your spirit, you'll feel it in your lifestyle. If you don't do things that are, conducive to righteous living. Now, that's not saying people that, that's not saying that's not saying that people that live righteously, which are far and few in between, are going to live to, 90, 80 years old. But I will say this, people that grow up in a rural environment with fresh air, watching chickens run around, walking through the woods on dirt roads, generally speaking, even if they go to the city, they live a longer life than people that are, necessarily in the city, a healthier life, yes, say. But some diseases will catch up to them, whether it's because of the, processing plants or, the factories that are close by, it will catch up to you. That's why the more and more you think about it, this place here, for example, is pretty free from pollutants. Now you have the large soda company, down the, up this way, right? But they're polluting the river. They're polluting the river. But there's so many other places where the rivers or the creeks, not the river, but the creek is not really being polluted. It's unacceptable. But if they want, but the government is letting the people come in. Now, this is an example of what David is talking about. See, we come right back around. What does David say? In verse, what does David say in verse 20? Shall there be joined with thee a throne of lawlessness? What does lawlessness mean? What does lawlessness mean? What does lawlessness mean? All right. If you look again, and I know Ariashan said that he opened the document, but you can also follow on YouTube and Facebook, and you'll see the document that we're using also. Or you can just hit the link in the group and follow it. Lawlessness means something that is without the law. Lawlessness is the process or act of being without law, right? Which law is he talking about? He's talking about the Torah. So what David is saying is that Yahweh is not joined with any rulership, any government, any structure, including Hebrew Israelites that are operating outside of the Torah. So all of these church organizations and religious organizations and Hebrew Israelite organizations on the earth that are not operating within the Torah, the scripture says that Yahweh is not with them. What do? The scripture says that they frame trouble upon a commandment. All right, they frame trouble upon a commandment. And over here it says, which forms trouble against your ordinance. All right. So they form trouble against the commandments of Yahweh. They make it difficult and hard for you to walk uprightly, to walk righteously. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important. Like I've been saying lately, I feel like it's important for you to understand that I'm 53 years old. And I'm not old and I'm not young, but I'm 53. I'm at that buffer zone. The next 7-10 years, I may start to walk differently or feel differently. But I see now that the life that we've been given is framed only to serve Satan. And I'm gonna be politically incorrect, and you may not like it, but Black people, Latino people, we spend half of our lives working for white folks. And when the shit hits the fan, all of them crackers scatter. I said I'm gonna be politically incorrect. When you start to feel, okay, I'm gonna retire now, I'm gonna start working for these people now. They're gone. That's why when you look inside the Bible, Abraham had a servant named Eleazar. He was part of Abraham's household. He had food, clothes. He was a worker, in other words. He was an estate employee. He was an estate employee. He worked for Abraham's estate. But again, the system is framed against not only you as a Latino, Native American, and Black man. I don't care if you African. I don't care if you from America. I don't care if you Black, brown skin, and you from the Americas or from Africa origins. The system is framed against you. Not India, right? Not China, not Japan, not Iraq, not Iran, not even Palestine. The system is framed against you deliberately. All right. So what King David is saying, Yahweh is not joined to a throne of lawlessness, which means a throne which does not operate within and promote the law of God Almighty. So you got to ask yourself a question. Is Mexico operating with inside the Torah? Is America? All right. Is the president of Mexico? Is the president of America? Is the prime minister of the UK? The prime minister, the leaders of Australia, all right, the leaders of Namibia, are they? No, they're not. So what does David say next? He said these people are going to hunt the soul of the righteous, and blood innocent they will condemn. All right. So they will hunt the soul of the righteous one, and they condemn innocent blood. And this happens in the spiritual. This is how America, her spiritual force, she's sacrificing the soul of innocent Black and Latino men and women to their God, which is Satan. And that's how they're able to strive in this system spiritually. That's why people can get distracted so easily. Because the system is set up to keep you focused on working and buying. That's it. Not on, praying, fasting, and doing what's in the best interest for you and your children. The whole system of America is built on selfishness. Everybody is selfish. Everybody's about me, 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 me. And I made a post the other day. The best thing that you can do for your family is to get your children land, not a house. You can give them a house, great, but they need land so they can have the resources to grow food, to make a house, to make bricks, to grow a garden, to have livestock. Anything other than that, you're depending upon a system that's working against the God of the Bible to provide for you and your descendants and your children. So you're putting them in the same trap that we oftentimes get caught up in. Okay. So anyway, that's what David is saying. He says that the people will hunt your soul and they slay innocent blood. He says, Yahweh is become our refuge and my God for a helper of hope of me. What does it mean Yahweh has become our refuge? That means that we look to Yahweh, we look to his word, we look to what he says, and we find hope, inspiration, and guidance to do what needs to be done. All right. So now in a couple of seconds, I'm gonna see if anybody else wants to volunteer to read from the next portion in Judges. If not, I read it myself. All right. So he says, Yahweh is our refuge, and Yahweh will render them their lawlessness. That means that everything that's functioning, that's operating outside of the law of Yahweh, is going to go back to them. They're going to get the reward of what they've done wrong. Their system will collapse. So ultimately, David ends this psalm with, I mean, Ariasha talked about a call to, who will rise up. It's call to arms, but in verse 23, the conclusion of the chapter, we see the ultimate call to arms, which is what? It says, and he shall render unto them their lawlessness, and according to their wickedness, destroy them, shall Yahweh our God. Now in the Septuagint, other one, in Lexham, it says, remove them from sight. Okay, remove them from sight. So that's what we have to look forward to. This system that we're in is not going to stay up. It has some good things to it also. I'm not going to act like it's all bad. But ultimately, if you stay inside of it, it's meant to destroy you while you contribute to, it's almost like a slave life. What happened to the slave? They just discarded them and, just let them die. And that's what the workforce does with us. We just work for them to do what? I don't believe in what you're doing, bro. I don't agree with your methods. Okay? I mean, us working for most of these companies in America, you might as well go ahead and become a clothes designer for a pimp, or design outfits for prostitutes, or make better concealment devices for cocaine smugglers. All right, we shouldn't be taking part. We shouldn't feel as if our only choice is to patronize wicked things that we don't believe in, just to put $1 in our pockets. Okay. Now, again, there's some good things and bad things about things that we interact with, but ultimately, you should be able to figure out what you want to do and do it in a way that's not going to compromise, all right, who you are and what you believe in. Just like with that Nazirite, the Nazirite vow is about that person being set apart, relying on the grace of the Most High, being an example of what we read here, standing up for righteousness, all right, relying on Yahweh's help, trusting in him and doing things his way. That's what we see in these verses that links up to the Torah reading. Because the Nazirite, he was dedicated to Yahweh. He couldn't even go to his own parents' funeral during the time of his Nazirite vow. So this was a high level of commitment that the person was making to the Most High. All right. So now we have this. But understand this too. It talks about a Nazirite in the Psalms. I mean, in Numbers, and over here it talks about somebody rising up against those that do wickedly. How do they come together? They come together in Samson. He rose up to defend those that needed defending, and he was a Nazirite. So he fulfilled both offices that we see in Psalms and that we see in Numbers. All right. And speaking of Samson, now, do we have somebody that wants to read what we have in Judges? I mean, no pressure. If I need to read it, I can read it. Oh, we have another volunteer. All right. So we see that Ohio was on the map today. All right. So let's get the volunteer for Judges chapter 13. You have the floor. All right. Shabbat shalom. For Judges 2. Um, Anybody want this other Septuagint? You got the you need anybody else need one or want one? If not, don't trip. I mean, it's all right if you don't. Here's another one if somebody wants it, just to be able to follow the words. Yo, whenever you are ready, we on yet. Anybody else want it? Whenever you're ready, we'll just indicate. Okay. All right, thank you. You got the floor.
Judges chapter 13, verses 2 to 14. And there was a man from Sarah, from the tribe of the family of the Danite, and named to him Manoah, and wife to him barren, and she brought not forth. And was seen an angel of Yahweh toward the woman. He said toward her, Behold, now thou art barren, and hast not brought forth, and thou shalt conceive a son. And now guard thyself surely, and drink not wine, nor strong intoxicant, and eat not all unclean things. Because, behold, thou in womb hast and shalt bring forth a son, and iron shall not go upon the head of him, because a Nazir of Allahai shall be the child from the belly, and he shall begin to save Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. And the woman entered and spake to her husband, saying, A man of Allahai came toward me, and his appearance was as the appearance of an angel of Allahai, fearful exceedingly. And I asked him not whence he is. He announced not his name to me. And he said to me, Behold, thou hast in womb, and shall bring forth a son. And now drink not wine, strong intoxicant, and eat not all unclean things, because the son shall be holy of Allahai from the womb to the day of his death. And Manoah prayed toward Yahweh and said, In me, Yahweh Adonai, the man of Allahai, whom thou sentest, let him surely come yet toward us, let him instruct us what we should do to the child being brought forth. And Allahai hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Allahai came yet toward the woman, and she sat in the field, and Manoah her husband was not with her. And the woman hastily ran and announced to her husband, and said toward him, Behold, the man who came in today toward me has been seen toward me. And Manoah arose and went behind his woman, and came toward the man, and said, Art thou the man that spake toward the woman? And the angel said, I am. And Manoah said, Now thy word shall come. What shall be the judgment of the child and his workings? And the angel of Yahweh said toward Manoah, From all things whatsoever I have spoken toward the woman, she shall guard herself. She shall not eat from everything that goeth forth out of the vine, and let her not drink wine and strong drink intoxicant, and let her not eat all unclean things. All things, as many I commanded her, she shall guard.
All right, the water for that. All right, any exposition or midrash from these verses?
See the Nazarite vow from the first portion. This time it's from Yahweh's order. It's not a temporary thing. It's like from birth up until he dies.
Right.
So really get a choice for like how long it's supposed to be. The story of Samson. It's like well, even in the womb, his mother's not allowed to drink. He's not allowed to eat or drink. He's not allowed to drink.
Right.
Because like she eats, he eats. So like, can't eat it. Not even in the womb, he's not allowed to
Right.
eat,
Right.
drink. think that's all.
Okay, yeah, great. So, like he said, like the child's let's elaborate on two things that he said. The children's parents were directing them on what direction they needed to go. That's what from his womb. That's what Amaria said, and that's something you see in a lot of cultures. Another thing Amaria said is that we see that what happens to the mother, you know, is going. Amaria said that she can't consume what the child can't consume because he would in essence be consuming it too, right? And every mother knows that she has to watch what she eats when she's pregnant because what she eats could affect her one way, but then that baby could get gas while it's in her womb, and then that gas is going to transfer to like cramps in her womb while the baby is passing gas. And baby, remember, the baby is can get a little bit of gas in the womb, but nonetheless, one thing that Amaria brought out, that one principle that Amaria brought out that needs to be expanded upon is the transference of not just physical energy from the mother to the child, but of mental energy, psychological energy from the child to the from the child to the mother, and most commonly from the mother to the child. What she feels, what she experiences, what she eats impacts that child also. All right, impacts that child also. All right, so this is a very good reading. It links directly to the Torah portion, like Amaria said. And we see also this angel, this messenger came to, now remember, when we say angel, angel is a word that can be misleading. Angel is angelos, all right, which means a messenger from Elohim. That's what it means. It doesn't mean a creature that has, just 14-foot wings. All right, it means a messenger of the Most High, and this messenger came in the form of a man, and he told her what she needed to do, and then the angel then talked to the man. All right, so now the husband, as we would say. So it wasn't just the woman and that's it, but he talked to the man after he talked to the woman. Why? Because this is something they're going to be, really acting upon together. All right, they're going to be acting upon and raising this child this way together. And you have more prohibitions. He can't eat this, can't do this, and he can't do any of these other things. All right, can't drink wine, can't drink any strong liquor. He can't eat anything that's unclean at all, no unclean foods at all. All right, so we see the mindset of the woman was elevated to a spiritual level that was pleasing to the Most High for people that were ready to be set apart, male and female. As we look in the first couple of verses, right? It talks about, I think in the English and in the Greek or the Hebrew, it says man or woman. So men and women entered into this Nazarite vow. All right. So typically, a Nazarite vow would last for a few months at most. It didn't usually last for like years. It didn't last for like years and years. Typically, it was a few months, and then a person could pause. Then if they wanted to enter into a Nazarite vow again, they could do it again. All right. Let's move into 2 Peter. Let's move into. I see she said Shalom, Southern Jew. I don't see any comments from Southern Jew on here. Maybe I didn't come up on my screen. So 2 Peter says, 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 and 2 says, but there came to be also false prophets among the people, as also among you there shall be false teachers who stealthily, right, shall introduce heresies of destruction, even the sovereign master having bought them, denying, bringing upon themselves swift destruction. and many follow after their licentiousness, all right? By reason of whom the way of truth shall be blasphemed. Just filthy, wicked things that leaders are going to start teaching. One of the biggest, filthiest things that people teach, Hebrew Israelites teach now, is about marriage. They don't respect marriage. They don't respect relationships. They have made these where in the Bible does it say that a woman is not? First of all, let's back up. Man and woman are the only words that we have in Greek and in Hebrew, what people call wife and husband. We don't have those words in Greek, the language of the Bible, nor do we have it in Hebrew, the language of the Bible, nor do we have it in Aramaic, the language of the Bible. We don't have it in those three languages. That's a modern European concept to make you think that there's some special transition that you can back out of. All right. So that's a heresy that's taught, that marriage is not respected, that marriage has to be there has to be a consummation. That is not true. Marriage is an agreement. A physical consummation does not negate or make a marriage, because you can have a physical consummation and you can still, it could be fornication. It could be just casual, right? Now, the word marriage itself is not even a concept that we understand. That's from a French word. Our understanding of marriage is means lordship. Lordship. And the man is the Lord. That's why if you have a man, right? If you have a man and a woman filing taxes, or a man and a woman, right? Let's say a man and a woman filing taxes, they ask who's the head of the household. What does that mean? That means who is the person that has the authority to decide the movement of the household, the head of the household. It's a metaphor. Who makes the last decision? And 9 times out of 10 is going to be a man. In most, most households, it's going to be a man. All right. So the heresies are being taught that the man is subservient to the woman, that the woman makes the final decision. The woman and the man have mature, respectful conversations together. And most time a man shouldn't make a move without consulting with his wife first, because they are one flesh and they need to be in agreement. And the more in agreement they are as they move forward, the more in agreement they'll display, and it'll be harder to tear down what they're trying to build together. All right. So Peter rather, is warning us against false prophets and false teachers. Right? Most people you see now are not teaching you the truth of what the Bible says. And when you do teach the truth of what the Bible says, people will have a problem with you, because it's a very narrow path, but it has very wide openings once you walk in it. It actually expands your mind and your spirit, and you see things in a much more clear way. Your thinking isn't as boxed in. Your thinking actually becomes more expansive, as well as you have access to the creative force of the universe, the active creative force of the universe, which is Chakma, or wisdom. And wisdom will help you and guide you into making better decisions. And guess what? You can just open up your Bible and read the book of Proverbs. You can read the book of Psalms. You can read the book of Ecclesiastes. You can read the Wisdom of Solomon, a separate book outside of Proverbs. You can read Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. And all those books of wisdom will help guide you into a better understanding. Okay. Now let's go to Luke chapter 5, chapter 17, verse 5 through 7. And said the apostles unto Yahweh, it said the Lord, so that so it should said the master. I think I had it, to translate that part wrong. And the apostle said unto the master, add unto us faith, and said the master, or said the Lord, all right, he said, if you have the faith, if you have faith as a grain of mustard, you would have said unto this sycamore tree, be thou rooted up and be thou planted in the sea, and it would have obeyed you. But who out of you, having a servant plowing or shepherding, who unto him having come in out of the field will say, straightway having come past, recline at meat. But will he not say to him, prepare what I may sup, and having girded thyself, serve me, until I eat and drink, and after these things eat and drink thou also. Hath he thanks to the servant because he did the things he commanded? I trow not. All right. So also ye, when ye have done all the things commanded unto you, say ye, the servants unprofitable are we, because what we ought to do, we have done. So basically, this is kind of having a funny wording, but basically it's saying your reasonable service is to obey what the Most High is saying to do. And if you do that on its highest level, then you can change the molecular structure of things in nature. Right? You can, if you have that faith, and if you're walking in wisdom, and we've seen it happen. I often say that, Ariasha is the poster child for wisdom. He got kidney stones disappearing, never to be found again, and never to be released out of his system, just evaporating. And then he got astigmatisms in both eyes, just changing the molecular structure. Why? Because of the level of faith and wisdom that Yahweh allows to operate through him for other people, to see. And that's something that nothing can take away or change. And that's definitely something that money can't buy. So if you can work in wisdom and you can focus on that, and you can change through your prayers, you can get favor from Yahweh, and he will change the molecular structure of physical matter. It seems like that would be a pursuit worth considering, because at the end of the day, if somebody's laying sick on a deathbed, nobody's gonna be like, oh man, like, what was your GPA? What grade you get in history? They're gonna be like, do you have any favor with God to heal me? Right? That's what they're gonna ask you. So your life should be lived in that way, serving the Most High God on the highest level possible. On the highest level possible. Let me read this. Let's go in this Luke chapter 17, verse 5, in this other Bible right here, which is the NRSV. So you get a different reading perspective. The apostle said to the Lord, increase our faith. And the Lord replied, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Who among you would say to your slave who has come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, come here at once and take your place at the table? Would you not rather say to him, prepare supper for me, put on your apron and serve me while I eat and drink? Later you may eat and drink. Do you thank the slave for doing what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, we are worthless slaves and have done only what we ought to have done. Now, this, of course, is a metaphor between us and the Most High. So he's telling you that your level of obedience to Yahweh is reflected in your faith, and your faith actually being used to change things. is what he's saying. Your faith actually being used to change things, to make things different. Your faith actually being used to make situations better, if that's what you want. Like you said, you coming in, you plowing or you shepherding, so he's dealing with physical things, but he's also using a spiritual lesson because it starts out as faith. So if we are slaves to Yahweh, doing what he said to do, because remember, he starts off by saying, have faith, and then this tree will obey you. But then he goes in to say, well, now if you are a servant and you're obeying this person that's telling you to do some things, you're going to be obedient. And you're not going to get thanks for being, obedient, just the basic levels. Think of it as if you say, you're fetching, or you have a dog, say, go get that, and it come back. You get the dog praise, all right? And even you as an employee, you have a factory, you have a company, you can't walk around and shake everybody's hand, hey, great shift, great shift, like done. Great shift, Mike, great shift, Shara. All right, great shift, you guys did great, you did good. You can't do that for everybody's working for you every 8 hours. But he's talking about in this domestic situation, when we are part of the household of faith, we are serving Hamashiach, Christ. We are serving the Almighty, Yahweh. And in our service to them, when we leave the house and we go back into the world, now those things in the world can be subject to our needs and our words to be transformed. But we have to be what? First dedicated to the master in order for that transformation to take place. Con? Everybody got that? All right, now Philippians chapter 3, verse 12 through 21. We can put that on there, but I'll just read it. Well, somebody actually may need it, so let me get it real quick for you. Philippians 3, 12 through 21. 12 to 21, right? So we'll get it in the book too. Let's get inside the book also. So again, remember, like, these are letters that are being written to people, right? And the people are, trying to do the right thing and trying to be a better person. And these are newbies. These are new believers for the most part that Paul is writing to, but Peter, on the other hand, is writing to believers that are mature, because these are Hebrews that were raised in the Torah, that know the commandments. So they have a different caliber. They have a different level of understanding, of the scriptures. While this comes up on my screen, Philippians chapter 3, verse 12 to 21, I'm going to start to read it from the book. All right, because it's taking too long to load. Okay. So we have it. Did I pull it up right here? Let me pull this up for you, okay? Everybody, Philippians 3, 12 to 21, so we can go ahead and read it, where we are, okay? So we'll take this, we'll copy it here, and everybody can go ahead and, have access to what it said. We'll paste it right there. We'll cut out some things that got faced by accident. So now we'll read it. Philippians 3:12-21. It says, not that already I received or already have been perfected, but I pursue if also I may lay hold upon that for which also I was laid hold upon by Hamashiach, Yeshua. Right. Now here it says, not that I have already obtained this or have already reached the goal, but I press on to lay hold of that for which Hamashiach has laid hold of me. Brothers, I do not reckon myself to have laid hold but one thing, the things indeed behind forgetting, and unto the things before stretching out. So he's saying that the old way you did things, the way of thinking, when you made your mistakes and errors, he's not looking to those. He's stretching forth for what? According to the mark, I pursue the prize of the upward calling of Yahweh in Yeshua and Hamashiach Yeshua. So he's saying that he's just working toward righteousness. That's his goal, is to work toward enjoy life and work toward righteousness. Now remember now, your life does not have to be like the life of Paul. You don't have to live a life of traveling around and trying to wake people up. You can live a regular, normal life and just be a light where you are and how you are. All right. Paul was an exceptional individual. Peter, the disciples were exceptional individuals. All right. Everybody wasn't made to be what we read about in the Bible in terms of you doing what you see everybody else doing. All right. Because remember, the body has all types of what? Parts. You got a pinky toe and you got a thumb. You got arms and you have an ear. All right. You have skin and you have hair. All bodies don't function the same way with all of the parts. Even the bodies are the same, but the parts on the bodies move differently than another body, and the parts on your body move differently than each other. All right. So it says, as many therefore are as perfect, this let us mind. And if anything otherwise you mind, even this Yahweh shall reveal unto you. Nevertheless, unto what we have obtained by the same walk orderly. Joint imitators of me become ye, brethren, and mark them that so walk, according as you have a pattern, us. So Paul, so now this is a very literal translation. It wasn't put into like a syntax all the time. So we have to kind of explain what it's saying. So it's very mechanical. So he's saying we are examples of you. So Paul's saying my walk is an example for you. All right. So imitate me, how I walk, and walk orderly. Don't walk out of order. Biggest thing in nature is order. Biggest thing in nature is order. All right. What happens if the bears become friends with your shepherd dogs? If the wolves become friends with your shepherd dog, what's gonna happen to your sheep eventually? They're gonna start getting eaten. And then them dogs are gonna start to go with the wolves to go look for other people's sheep, right? So everything has to be in order. The slightest change in order can have long-term detrimental effects in a person's life. We looked at Shrek the other day, right? And Shrek made a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, right? And Rumpelstiltskin said, just give me a day and give me 1 day of your life and I'll give you a whole day of being an ogre that everybody's afraid of again, just like you. And Shrek's like, well, I was a little child and nobody remembers, you can have any of those days, right? But he never thought that the day that Rumpelstiltskin would take would have the effect that it had on not only Shrek's life, but Donkey's life, as well as Fiona's life, right? Nobody, you didn't see that coming, did you? You didn't, oh, he gonna take this particular day. You didn't think he was gonna take that day in your mind, did you? Because you probably figuring out like, man, what day is he gonna take to see, you know, to mess up this whole program, right? So we ain't gonna give it up. We're not gonna spoil it for everybody, are we? All right, we ain't gonna spoil it for y'all. But again, little things can make a major difference. Okay, little things can make a major difference. All right, Uncle Pete, he made one statement to me before. It's like 2002. He made this statement to me. He said, and he was kind of repeating from a movie, but he said, "If you build it, they will come." And those 7 syllables, right, have been in my mind for like the past over 20 years, trying to build it so that those that need to come can come. But those words are stuck in my mind. Small, I don't remember anything else from the conversation verbatim. That's the only thing I remember verbatim. He looked at me and he said, I think he had his glass on, I think he did like this, but if you build it, they will come. And that thing is stuck in my mind for over 20 years. So if you walk orderly and you're surrounded by order and people say orderly things to you, they can transform and make things better for you in life over time. Maybe not immediately. All right. So now verse 18, all right, Paul says, for many walk, of whom many times I said to you, and now even weeping I say, who are the enemies of the cross of Christ. Certain people are the enemies of salvation, repentance, and the enemies of Christ. All right. If you live in Ukraine and you're a Russian, and the Russians say, hey, we got all these troops coming, but we need to cut through your yard to get to this place over here. Can we cut through your yard? You're gonna tell them yes or no? You're gonna tell them, yeah, sure, go ahead. But if you tell them no, they're gonna feel like you're kind of an enemy to them if you don't support and help that mission. If you say, hey, y'all, you know, Russia rocks, but you gotta go around, right? Same way the enemy of the cross. The enemy of the cross is the enemy of salvation, the enemy of the sacrifice of the Messiah. They don't have to be like, oh, I hate Yeshua, I hate Yahushua, I hate Jesus, I hate whatever you call him. They don't have to say that. They can say, well, JC's not real, or you don't got to do all of that, or that's extra. Who are you? You existing from what? Anybody on this planet Earth has been existing for less than 120 years. But we reading from a book that was written 2,000 years ago about events 2,000 years ago that covers events going back to the creation of man. We read the New Testament 2,000. The Torah is over 3,000 years ago. And then events before that going back to Adam. All right. So we coming up on like the 6,000 plus years of creation. All right. Now, we're in this 5, we're in the 5,000. It's on the, come and give me a calendar. We tell you exactly, try to tell you exactly what year we're in. All right. I got it written on, it's written on that paper calendar we have, but I don't have access to it right now. All right, but nonetheless, the point is that the enemy of the cross is the people that oppose Hamashiach, and they oppose creation, and they oppose the order of creation. But they do things to pollute their bodies, their minds, and their spirit. And then after that, they think they figured it out. But you know when everybody figures out that they haven't figured it out? Let me tell you when. When they're on the deathbed. When they realize that it's all over. When they realize that now, whatever is going to happen after, they have no control over it, and it's about to happen, and they can't stop it, that they have expired now. And we all have an expiration date. All right. So now the enemies of the cross want you to meet your expiration date out of order with the Most High. All right, so let's go on to verse 19. Paul addresses this. He says, whose end is destruction, whose God is the belly, and the glory is in the shame of them who the things upon earth are minding, those who mind only the things on this earth. And we all know that the number one important thing on the planet Earth to most people, especially people in America, is what? Money, 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 money. All right, dollar bill, y'all. Greenbacks, some paper, some Skrilla. All right, some dollars. All right, some shekels. All right, so their destruction is people are following things to satisfy low-level carnal things. That's why he said their God is their belly. All right, verse 20. For of us the commonwealth of heaven exists, commonwealth of the Shemayim. See, for clarity's sake, heaven is not gonna, the heavens that he's talking about is not gonna be, just far away, a million years, a million miles away in the sky. It's gonna be on this earth. This is gonna be incorporated. The earth is gonna be incorporated into the kingdom of heaven. That's why John said in Revelation, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. All right. Out of whence a savior we await, the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. So from the fourth dimensional heaven, what did he say? The commonwealth of heavens. So right now the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, but that commonwealth of the heavens, we will be incorporated back into unity with the harmony of Yahweh's creation. So we wait on HaMashiach, but they didn't see the full picture because it was so exciting and they thought everything was imminent right then, but they thought that the prophecies of our punishment had already been fulfilled. So they didn't really pay attention to, the timeline or us, waiting. All right. So now verse 21, last verse, who shall transform the body of shall transform the body of humiliation of us, conform to the glory of him, according to the working of the being able of him, even to subject unto himself all things. So HaMashiach, everything's going to be subject unto him, and the humiliation in this earthly body is going to be transformed into a body of glory. Everybody got that, right? Okay, great. 2 more readings now, we finish. Matthew 17, 1 through 13. Do we have any volunteers that want to read this? If anybody wants to read that. Was that a volunteer motion? All right. If not, I'll read it myself. 3, 2, 1. All right. And after 6 days taketh Yeshua, Peter and James and John, the brother of him, and bringing them up into a mountain high privately. And he was transfigured before them and shined, and his face shined as the sun, and his garment became white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto him Moses and Elijah conversing together with him. And Peter answered unto HaMashiach, Master, is it good for us to be here? If you want, I will make 3 tabernacles, one for you, Moses, and Elijah. While he was speaking, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice came from the cloud saying, This is my son, my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear you him. And having heard this, the disciples fell on their face and were exceeding afraid. Then came Yeshua, and he touched them, and no one saw they, if not Yeshua himself alone. So like they were gone. And as they were coming down from the mountain, Hamashiach commanded them, saying, tell no one the vision until when the Son of Man is risen from the dead. And questioned him, the disciples, saying, why didn't say the scribes Elijah it behooved to come first? And he answering said, Elijah indeed cometh, and he shall restore all things. But I say unto you that Elijah already came, and they recognized him not, but did with him whatsoever things they willed. So also the Son of Man is about to suffer by them. Then understood the disciples concerning John the Baptist, he spake unto them. All right. So basically, the Most High gives a physical sign that he's pleased with Hamashiach and that this is his son. And Elijah, who's the prophet that's supposed to come before the Messiah comes, and then Moses, which is a prophet of the Torah, were with Hamashiach as he himself was transfigured or transformed into just light, his face and his garments, everything. All right. So a bright cloud came over them, which probably could have been a UFO, right? Came over them and said, this is my son, I'm well pleased in him. I mean, it's a bright cloud came over. Either it was a cloud just suddenly came over, or was something other than a cloud. All right. So bright cloud. All right. So the disciples fell on their face and said, what's going on? They got scared. And then when they got scared, they rose up and they only saw the Messiah. And he said, don't tell nobody what you saw. All right. And then they said, well, hold up. Why did the scribes say Elijah had to come first? Because they saw Elijah. And he said, Elijah did come. And he said that John the Baptist was Elijah, which shows you which shows you the biblical definition of reincarnation. The biblical definition of reincarnation. And I was just saying to Sharada the other day, like, you think that members of your family would be reincarnated through our family or reborn through our family? And she's like, oh, I don't know. All right, I don't know, maybe. But I mean, she didn't say it like that. She said, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. So, but Elijah, his spirit came back to the earth as John the Baptist. Okay. Came back to the earth as John the Baptist. And as he came to earth as John the Baptist, I guess that kind of answers the question, right? Because John was from the family of Levi. Okay. Now it's not clear whether he was Levite or not, but the fact that he offered up that sacrifice, kind of makes people think that he was a Levite, but it's not clear. But he was from a different line than John the Baptist. They didn't have the same John the Baptizer, let's say. He had a different family lineage than he had. All right. So Elijah was reincarnated as John. Everybody understand that? The spirit of Elijah came back to the earth into Elizabeth's womb. And when it was in Elizabeth's womb, when Zechariah's seed fertilized her egg, that spirit of Elijah went into her womb. Right. Last verses, John chapter 12, verse 12 through 15. On the morrow, a crowd, much that had come unto the feast, having heard that Yeshua, that cometh Yeshua into Jerusalem, took the branches of the palm trees and went forth to meet him. And they cried out, Hosanna, which means saved us. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of Yahweh, and the King of Israel. And having found Yeshua, a young ass, he sat upon it according as it is written, fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, the King of thee cometh, sitting upon a coat of an ass. Of course, he's quoting from Zechariah, the prophecy about the Messiah. Okay. So what can we take from this? The feast, Jerusalem, recognizing his coming, recognizing that this is the Messiah. And he's saying, save us. All right. Hoshana is save us. All right. Now that word itself, Hosanna, again, this is a word that means we need salvation. All right. We want you to deliver us, which is kind of how we started off, because the sacrifices of deliverance. All right. It's the same word in the Hebrew. All right. The same word in the Hebrew. So we end off what we started out at. The sacrifice of salvation is the sacrifice of deliverance. All right. So they say Oshana, that's a shift from the Hebrew into the Aramaic. So that is an Aramaic word. This is one of the many examples in the Bible where we see that the Messiah was not in common everyday language. They were not speaking Hebrew. They're speaking Aramaic in everyday language. And when they quote the Bible, they're not quoting Aramaic or the Hebrew. They're quoting the Greek Bible. They're quoting the Greek. That's our reading for today. All right, everything links together. You can see the connections through all of the verses. All right. All right. So shalom, everybody, again on YouTube. Shalom, everybody that's on Facebook, and shalom to my special peoples inside of the special people inside of the chat on Messenger. Okay. So had a wonderful time. Well, my time wasn't technically full of wonder, but you know what I mean. You know, good seeing everybody. The interaction. So this is the struggle. This is what we have. You know, we have to work toward righteousness. Dedicate yourself to the Most High. The first level of a Nazirite vow is for you, not even the first level, but the first thing that you can do that's similar to a Nazirite vow, but that's very necessary, as the master said. Let's bring it back. Hamashiach said, yeah, you working for this master and you go out, the master ain't gonna be like, oh, I thank you so much. So the reasonable service, the Nazirite vow comes after what? After your reasonable service that the Messiah talks about. All right. So first, our reasonable service is just to obey what Yahweh said to do. All right. And that's gonna be it. Let's see, any other brothers have anything else to say on the inside of the messenger chat? Anybody want to say anything, or any concluding words, any of you brothers, older or younger brothers over here? All right, everybody. So, all right, so that's gonna be it for today. Yahweh bless and protect all of y'all over there. I think now we can let's go ahead and conclude. All right, so let's conclude and let's close out with these prayers. Let's face Jerusalem. Yahweh, from the first days of creation, We remember your holy days of repose and cessation, which holy day began on the seventh evening of creation, and which the count of which began ere was made, plant, beast, man, sun, moon, or star, and which were all made in your 6 days of work with nothing bearing influence on the first recorded Sabbath day, save the prior 6 evenings and 6 mornings before the 7th evening of the 7th day of rest, blessed and sanctified by you, Yahweh El Shaddai, Amen. Bashem Yeshua Mashiach. Shabbat. Be seated. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished and all the host of them. And on the 6th day Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. And Yahweh Elohim called spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto Banya Yasha'Allah, saying, Verily my Sabbath you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that doth sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh Elohim. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore Banya Yasha'Allah shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and Banya Yasha'Allah forever. For on 6 days Yahweh Elohim made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel and say unto them, My offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire for a sweet savor unto me, ye shall observe to offer unto me in their due season. And on the Sabbath day 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meal offering mingled with oil, and a drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And ye shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deals shall be in 1 cake, and thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 in a row, upon the pure table before Yahweh. And thou shalt take pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Every Sabbath you shall set it in order before Yahweh continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons, and ye shall eat, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him, of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, by a perpetual state. It's Neil again. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwthka, Taba'a, Ratzaka, Haya Isha, Barataza, Kahaya, Bashemayim, Nathanawa, Lakham, Kaliyawam, Wasalaktanawa, Kabawatanawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabiyatanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawshinawa, Mamri, Bashem, Yeshua, Hamashiach, Amen. Right. Be seated. 10 Commandments. And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh Elohim, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh Elohekah in vain, for Yahweh Elohekah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh Elohekah, in it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh Elohekah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh Elohekah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yahweh Elohekah giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Yabarakaka Yahweh Yashamarka, Yaadi Yawapanya Aliyaka Wayakanka, Yasha'a Yahwapanya wa Aliyaka Wayashamaka Shalom. Is that in English? Yahweh bless and keep thee. Amen. Upon thee be gracious unto thee. Amen. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee. Amen. Bashem, Yeshua, Hamashiach. Amen. All right, so let's relax, have a long break until lunchtime. And at lunchtime, we'll gather to get, well, for really about to be our lunchtime now, no long break. Gather together for lunch. All right, so it's kind of where we are right now, brothers and sisters. So we are we're finished with our broadcast, our convocation for today, right? Imadwa, Shabbath, Imadwa, Barakwa, Yabakaka, Yahweh, Bashim, Yamashia, Mashiach, Yani Mata, Imadwa Shabbat. Oh, okay. Zayathan again, Imadwa Shabbat, Imadwa, Barakwa, Yabakaka, Yahweh, Bashim, Yamashia, Mashiach, Yani Mata, Imadwa Shabbat, Akwati, Imadwa, Imadwa Shabbat, Imadwa, Barakwa, Yashimar, Yahweh, Bashim, Yamashia, Mashiach. Kom Yahweh, Kom Yeshua Mashiach, Kom Yasha'Allah, Kom Yasha'Allah, Kom Yasha'Allah, Hallelujah, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All right. Everybody, so hey, y'all can hug Zayat with me. Got everybody over? And now y'all can hug Chicago. That's my done. That's my done. That's my done. Now the best of us alone. That's my done. Now the best of us alone. That's my done. Now the best of us alone. All right, everybody. So, right, Zayatan, Ariashan and Maria. Good reading today. We have to get off of here real quick now. Good job, everybody. That was a nice time. Enjoyed my time with y'all. I'm gonna give you a call in a minute, Khadijah. All right, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, YouTube, Facebook. All right, let me see if anybody got any. All right, Shabbat Shalom to you, brother, the Bishop of California. All praise to the Most High. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.